Um, had some technical difficulties tonight. So what's happening? What's happening? B1. What's happening with you? Holla holla. Let me know what's up. Yeah, I just got to doing the video. Appreciate you telling me. I did my commentary. My video's already set. So time you'll see it. I laid into him. I laid into LeBron. Okay. That don't count. I laid into LeBron and I blame LeBron and Anthony Davis for it. So that's how I feel about it. I don't care about OBJ going to the Dolphins. That's not no news. Let's talk about Darvin Ham. We ain't gonna talk about no football. We especially ain't gonna talk about no wash receiver who basically is pillow to post right now. He ain't gonna do nothing there. He had a one-handed Tyreek Hill highlight reel. And what else? And that's not their problem. They got Waddle. Like, how many more speed burners do you need? That's not their problem. Their problem is on the defensive side. They can't stop the run, and they soft when it comes to Cole. And more speed ain't gonna make them better. They're looking gimmicky ball. So that's how I look at it. They look like a gimmick team right now. But let's talk about Darvin Ham. I ain't gonna talk about OBJ. He ain't gonna do nothing. Right now, he's hyping. He's gonna what? He's gonna play for everybody he can think of. He never had a chance. I mean, if you're coaching a guy who's past his prime and you're trying to sell an agenda, what are you doing? But everybody in their right mind knew that was a bad job. I would have been curious if he'd have been coaching Anthony Davis without LeBron. Would have been interesting. You can tolerate one diva, you can't tolerate two. But to let D'Lo sit there and play on his phone and just stand you up, that was the telling sign right there. You know, they didn't want to play for him, and LeBron powdered and mounted. He know what happened. His so suck ups will make excuses though. But he never had a chance in La La Land. That's why Rasheed Wallace didn't want that job. She'd had a chance to be an assistant coach there, and he turned it down. Smart man. He was never too trusted. If you're a Laker fan, you already know that whole thing was Swaggy P. That's why he got ran out the first time for being a snitch. And of course, D'Lo would act like he defend him because nobody in their right mind would have D'Lo starting. I mean, the cat ain't a starter. He's a bum. We already established that. Shoot. If he feel like scoring 15, he'll score 15. And if he feel like tanking, he will. He can't play no defense. So what else you got him for? He's a by default second tier guard. 3 tiers is where you go. But when he play like he did the other night, he's not even as good as Patrick Beverly on the outside. Because he is a bum. He played with him. He know. He half-hearted. He's good enough to score about 15 to 16 points, which Mike Connolly I'll allow because that's how Mike Connolly would score. When D'Lo's actually contributing, you should get 15, 16 out of him. But for the kind of hype to be the so-called maybe third wheel on that team, well, really the fourth wheel because they want that white boy to get all the love. That's embarrassing. So, when Steph calls you something, you suck because Steph don't talk like that too often, but he was. He had good looks. I mean, you don't mean to tell me you get to play with Kobe and LeBron. Now, mind you, they both old men, but still, Anthony Davis, and you got to play with Cat in Minnesota, which I thought was his best look, and then you get to play with Steph. I mean, how many times you gonna get to play with top, you know? Well, that's what y'all want. I don't co-sign that mess. You know how I feel about that white boy. You think I'm hard on Tyler Hero. You know how I feel about Reeves, but that's y'all mess. That's not my mess. That white boy ain't got business starting either. See, y'all playing. Now, Alex Caruso, I give you that. Even though he wasn't the scorers, Reeves, or that, better fit. Played defense too. Played smart. Reeves is a gimmick. And you seen it. Yeah. And she's better than him. As a matter of fact, I think you bring her out there, you might get the same productivity, half of it at least. I'm for real. He don't do much on defense. They out there. Well, who was that turkey? Was it uh Shady? Who was it that was talking about? Or was it Skip talking about Reeves almost got some fingertips on Jamal Murray's shot? Is that what we do now? He almost got a fingertip on it. Is that what we do? Yeah, talking about he almost got a fingertip on it. If he just put the little index finger and the pinky a little bit to the right, I'm like, what the heck is turkey? See, I'm a comedian, okay, as you know. So I look for the funny part. But then again, it's all funny because the slurping is hilarious. But I really look for the funny parts. And he said this on national TV and he wasn't drunk with a straight face. Talking about he got his fingertips almost. You supposed to get your fingertips on the ball, fool. The heck you talking about? And if you just with your middle thumb over, you might get there. You just get your thumb wiggled. This guy. I'm like, did they really get paid to talk like this? Is this really TV on? Is this TV on? Is camera on? So, but that's your team though. All right, what's happening? How you doing? Yeah, just stick to football. Him and Keyshawn, I mean, like y'all both need to just y'all know y'all worse than two chicks with this mess between Shady and Keyshawn. I mean, Shannon slurps and Nick Wrong slurps, but this is a whole. This is some slurpage that ain't even got nothing to do with. They just slurping to be slurping. At least with Shay, he holds him high regard for his impact for a career, and the same thing with Nick Wrong. Even though Nick Wrong was the one that started the slurping on him. And as we say in the days, that no Diddy, but slurping, but no Diddy. I don't know. I saw a Charles Barkley interview with Shay, and he's got him to say he's the second best player in all this crap, which is that's what they want. Telling people, well, Kareem had this record and all this, but like, no, I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all talk like some crackheads. Yeah, I did too. Because I like what he said about LeBron when he said he should consider retiring sooner. I agree. You asked me that, and I think he should too. Unless you just want a stat pad because you ain't winning no championships and you got to do too much work. And like I said before, you'll see tomorrow night what I'm talking about. Denver, Minnesota, that's a man style heavyweight. I don't see nothing else in the NBA that got me hyped like that. And please don't tell me New York, Indiana, because this ain't the 90s. And we know Boston, Cleveland, and Orlando. But this Denver, Minnesota, oh yeah. That's front row seat. That's worth, yeah. That could be the standards for the next 2 years after this year. These 2 or 3 years of that. I wouldn't have no problem with that. Because if Minnesota is healthy, excuse me, and Ant's playing and Jokic is playing and Jamal Murray playing, and I'm going to get all of that. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. But not this mess with, well, I don't know who you are and I don't really address things like that. So I think you got the wrong form. I do respect in here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's a heavyweight fight, yo. That's a heavyweight fight. I'm looking forward to it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Some real basketball. Not this, you be asking, this is what I'm talking about. Not all this, oh, slurpage and all this mess. I'm talking about some guys that actually got it. They ain't the refs ain't, they just let them play. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want. How Portis is gonna do, and how and how Aaron Gordon gonna do, and I like, and don't forget, and uh Rudy Gobert. I mean, there's a lot intrigue here. Sure, that's what I'm talking about. I saw that. I wanted to know, was it racial? Now I know how them rednecks are in Indiana, but I want to know if he was provoked. I seen Stephen A. Crying already, so I want to know if he was provoked. Because I'll defend Patrick Bev if it was provoked. But them white folks gonna probably say they got broken fingers. When they get through with him, you can't take your frustrations out on them. I believe it was racial. I know them fans be saying stuff. Oh, thank you so much, Maria Love. Appreciate you. I believe it was. I have a tendency to think that because these fans in the NBA stands do be saying stuff. I do believe it. And I'm a firm believer that it isn't without being provoked. You have to be very careful with what you say. But the fans are never held accountable unless they make something real derogatory or, so. Well, she gon' sue. But was it? But I'm just saying. I can find out what was said. Oh, she gon' sue. That's one thing I liked about the pandemic. They don't need no fans in the stands. Which you don't. They make their money off advertising anyway. People be too close anyway. Don't really need them there. But it depends on what side you on it. That's all I can say. I have to do more investigation on it. Hope you wasn't just mad because they were getting their butts smashed. I mean, because that's the case. You should have thrown that ball at Doc Rivers. You should have thrown it at him for even putting you in the game. You know you weren't gonna win. No Panthers as bad as y'all played. I mean, they played horrible. But you got a lot of fans who are idiots and they do say racially provoked things. So we're gonna find out. It'll come out in the wash. They all do. They all do. They all do. I mean, the reality is that, oh yeah, I had to do that. I had to do that. I didn't really want to, but then I kept thinking I got to do it because I'm torn with him musically. One of my favorite artists, talent wise, the guy's one of the most talented artists. But then I thought, wow, I've never heard of anything like that where fans actually, because of what you said, boycotted you. And that was real. So I had to do it. Psh, tell you right now, if R. Kelly came out of jail to prison tomorrow, he'd have way more people than McKnight would have for the rest of the year put together. That's the sad state for Brian McKnight. He can't give himself away at a dollar store parking lot right now. Half off. Everything 50 cents. I don't even know if he could pack it with food and drink. I don't even know. And see what he don't realize when you sold out, his biggest audience is still black women. Well, you don't have to worry about them. I mean, he's got some fans of all races, but black women are still pretty much his main demographic. One thing I will say this about black artists, unless of course you have a more pop thing going, you're still gonna have more black females gonna support your thing more than anything. So this is more black based. Contrary to what he may like, not like, and more black folks than support him more than anything. I mean, who was bopping their heads when he had Kobe Bryant in that, KOBE, remember? Come on now. Shh. Brian tripping. I mean, his thing is worse than anything you can think of. For all these people who used to always clown OJ or clown Tiger Woods or clown, but ain't nobody seen nothing ignorant like that. That's one of the most ignorant things I ever heard. Yeah, back in the day. I mean, ain't gonna lie. 90s, his first album, I love the first album. And he could sing. The dude can play. Dude can sing gospel, can play classical, jazz. The guy's talented. But he fell off, you know. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. He got some company up there. That's up there though. I'm gonna put it like this. Wow. Wow. He way up there though. He way up there. He right. He neck and neck with Clarence Thomas. He up there with Oprah. He up there with Tyler Perry. He's up there. He way up there, and of course with Tim Scott. Oh, there's a lot. Let's just say if there's like how they say like a three-way tie for second or something, like on the Masters and golf. Yeah, he up there. He tied for. Oh, there's a lot of them. I mean, that's hard to say because a lot of them play Major League Baseball. Um, I mean, take your pick. There's a lot of them. I mean, you name the person, I'll tell you yeah or name. I think those two dudes in LA who got their coach fired, and I'm gonna stand by that. And you know what I'm talking about. All that crying and fainting and falling and pouting and you know, and you got a black head coach. You know good and well how tough it is. Yeah, you know how tough it is to be a black head coach on a professional level. Shoot, despite all the ninjas that play in the NBA, ain't a lot of black head coaches. Doc Rivers is a token. That's off the court though. You said in the sport. Well, I guess if I use that, his is just as heinous as McKnight's for a TV show. If you want to know, them two, they in it, but they not up there with the Brian McKnight. I ain't got them in that chain. But Steph, yeah, he got some explaining to do with that mess. And as much as I hold him in high regard as a player, as you know, he gonna lie to explain to do with that mess. That's embarrassing. Your name's attached to that mess. Not good. There's a lot of them though. A lot of them. You name them, I'll tell you. I keep my eye on Shannon Sharp too, because I mean, you are veering on the road, and if they're shuffling with Amanda Seals, then you know she ain't stable. That wasn't a good look. So there's a lot of them though. So whoever you mention, I'll tell you yeah your name. There's a lot of them. Can't think offhand. Oh, probably AB would be on there too, because AB, yeah, he doing too much. Oh yeah, he's up there. But fortunately for him, there's that other tier. He's not quite up on that top one, but he's up there. Yep, he's up there. You know, I'll say this: AD, Braun, Draymond are below Curry and AB, because them turkeys is up there with they up there with Brian McKnight. But believe me, there's tiers to this. Oh yeah, and Stephen A. Smith is way up there too, snitching on, calling up Adam Silver about. Yes, the boss. He need to be suspended, boss. Sorry, boss. Sorry to disturb you, boss. Yeah, he up there too. He's sports, so yeah, he's up there. That wasn't that wasn't bucking. That's just being the scrub he is. That's not real. First of all, let's keep it 100. Chauncey came there when Dame was trying to get out. They sucked last year with a superstar, and they sucked this year with a guy that was never was, who thinks because he got to a finals and win 6 games, he's ready to get in the Hall of Fame. So, what you expect? Talking about I need the right mattress, and then I'll show up for 25 games and we'll win about 27. What you expect? That's scrub behavior. Of course he did. But see, I know Nate McMillan wasn't gonna last long because Nate is always like a quicker picker upper. Nate's always been used, and he wears his welcome out to 2 or 3 years. That's not his first rodeo. Nate is the broke Doc Rivers. Okay, in case you want to know, he's broke Doc. He's the Junior Whopper Doc. He ain't gonna win no ring, and he'll get you hyped up for a little while, and then about 34 years, he tends to outwear his welcome. And that happened to him before. That's the Nate McMillan. I told you he's Junior Whopper Doc. That's what's up. No one cares about Trey Young getting brothers fired because no one really cares about Trey Young. Pretty much. Trey's just you know. I mean, you getting what you get with Trey. You know. So you expect anything, you gonna get your feelings hurt. You don't expect nothing, you won't get your feelings hurt, you still get fired. So whatever. Excuse me. So whatever. But yeah, he's on that Kanye West thing. I mean, yeah, he's definitely falls in that bucking. And as bad as he is, he still ain't Brian McKnight. He ain't on that tier, but he's in there though. He's in there though. He dangles on the second one for sure. Because the ignorant stuff that he says, and believe me, there's a long line. I do have to put an honorable mention on the buck, and it breaks my heart to have to do it because you know what I'm gonna say. You already know. Because two of my favorites didn't made this list. I gotta put Shaq on there just for the simple fact he let JJ Redick say that mess on his show. And he didn't shut him up and said that mess. And I'm thinking, you can't possibly. allow this to get on air. You can't possibly say that. And it must be some contract that you have to have JJ Redick on your show. I don't know. Somebody didn't get the message. No, excuse me. I'm not saying that I'm shocked. It's just the fact with JJ Redick crap. That's the problem I have with it. No, I know he been known to shuffle. I ain't got no delusion about Shaq. He ain't no white Ahmad. That's an insult. Ain't no white Ahmad. Shoot. Ahmad actually had talent. Listen, I could take you to an Ahmad. Ahmad, okay. There was a game Minnesota against Cleveland. He actually caught a bomb when he was the former Bobby Moore in Buffalo. That's when him and OJ were boys before he changed his name to Ahmad Rashad. He actually had some skills. Ahmad was actually good. Ahmad actually got you go on YouTube, you actually got about a 10-minute reel. JJ Redick ain't got but like a 2.5-minute reel. And half of that's when he's in Duke. Come on now. Don't insult him like that. Don't insult. Don't listen. Ahmad may have slurped Jordan, obviously, but he was better at his better. Way better. Way better. Not even close. And besides, I never heard Ahmad say no crazy crackhead stuff like that. I ain't never heard Ahmad sit there and say, "Oh, um, you know, Reggie, Reggie who? Reggie who?" Oh, he got nothing else better to do because first of all, he's bought and paid for. First of all, he bought and paid for. Well, they got him doing the Wendy's commercials. He don't eat that mess. You don't stay that skinny. He gained a little weight. He ain't got no weight. He'll do anything for $1 and holler. Reggie 304 right now. But everybody know his sister was still better than he was as a player. We ain't gonna even go there. Reggie do anything for $1 and a holler. Still need to tell people how his ex burned the house down, but we ain't gonna talk about that though. We ain't gonna talk about that, Reggie. We know all about Reggie. How that whole thing went down. We know what's up, Reggie. We don't talk about you, Reggie. We know that you just can't help yourself. Pretty much. Well, because he'd be talking that church talk. And them white folks do not like it. And he will shimmy on your behind too, like a good preacher. Yeah, he got white folks shook up. I will give you that. Won't even let him be an assistant coach or let him broadcast. But his podcast is doing good. Mark's actually got some integrity. So you can't have no integrity. You can be one thing, you can't be it all. Can't be all threatening, can't be all knowing. Gotta be careful what you say. So yeah, he definitely did get too black for him. There's some truth to that. What did he say? I already know that him and KG fell out, and I know that there was some bad blood because he basically told KG, "You ain't never gonna be no Michael Jordan." He said something really hard. It cracked me up because I remember it was shattering at the time. That I remember. That I remember. I just don't remember the whole extent. Yeah, of course they did. They was trying to slurp up to KG, and KG didn't really want to play with him, so he got up out of there. And Marbury rubbed some people the wrong way. And I remember because he got the whole thing with him and Jason Kidd, and that's back when Jason Kidd was wilding. Now you ask me, Kidd fooled around. It's hard to say at that time who was better of the two, but Kidd got better, and of course they got Starbury out of the league. But there was a lot of politics involved with Starbury. Well, they get better with him because they play better. That's all. And he had that New York attitude, and he was stat padding, and he definitely was hogging. But he played. He could score. It's just that you know he had that attitude. So you know, it's a lot of stuff that goes on. So yeah, I didn't really. I've listened to him interview the years, and I think sometimes he's been in some denial about what he could have done. Could have been a better player. We'll never know though. We'll never know. He got whiteballed by the NBA. That's why he ended up in China. That's in a nutshell. That's a fact. Yeah, he just needs help. If he even gets half a hand, but that's the only problem is that he needs to play with somebody that can score. That's their problem. Chips doesn't usually carry firepower, but Brunson is beasting. Lucky for him, Tobias Harris did his usual Tobias Harris routine. If them turkeys even crack 10 points, they got no choice. They don't have any room. They have to play. They're not a good team. They don't have easy buckets. They feisty and they spirited, and that's what's gonna get them deep, but they're not a good team in the sense that, if they go against a team that can go five deep on them, they're gonna have problems. So they have to be aggressive, you know. They know good and well they should not beat no Joel Embiid led team. But again, he ain't got no except for him and Maxi. I know Buddy Hills had an out about it last night, but Nick Nurse got to get something out of his teams. You can't be having two or three busters on your team and they combine score 5 points. That's not gonna cut it. If Tobias and Lowry and on average at least 8 or 9 points, they win that series. Yeah. Yeah, they need a real third. They need 2 or 3 options. That's what I think. But ain't gonna keep talking about the process. Yeah, he is because his body is getting ready to go out on him. You right. You're absolutely right. Because he done taken so much of a pounding, and he doesn't make stuff easy on himself. And when you play inside out and you're that big and you do all that, yeah, and you got to get some help. So I don't feel sorry for him. That's not going to happen. You tripping. You're a funny dude. Philly don't want no Bam. Can't score like Joel. And to have someone like Bam, you got to have another guy that can create. Now, I would say you would make that trade work if you wanted to be crazy. Say, for instance, that Julius Randle was available and he was in Philly, and then you get Bam to Philly. I'll give you that because Bam would need a scorer to play alongside of him. He's not equipped. Bam and Maxey would be like a step down between Maxey and Jimmy Butler because of the intangibles. Because Maxey is a better pure scorer, but Maxey isn't a better pure player. If that makes any sense. So no, nice try though. No, and Joel is kind of breaking down. Bam don't score enough as Joel, so no, you can't make that move. You can't make that move. You talking about a guy that scored 60 plus 7 points this year and Joel Embiid. Bam will do that sometimes in a week. Come on now. Can't make that move. I wouldn't even do it as the Heat, excuse me. Because I don't trust. And you'd have to give up something. You have to get rid of Kyrie and Tim Hardaway Jr. and some draft picks. You'd have to give up something for that. That really wouldn't move the needle much. They need another piece because him and Luca wouldn't. You got to have somewhere in the middle. Now, if Embiid came to Dallas with Luca and his head coach was playing point guard, then we might have something. You give Jason Kidd some eligibility to just play point with them two, then we on to something. Provided he can go up and down the court and you have that. Yeah. But you ain't got no Jason Kidd type of players right now at point guard. That would work. That would work. Because then Luca would be even more dangerous. Because he can pass in the low post as opposed to have to take them long threes and shimmy and move around. They got two twin towers. See, if you pay attention, basketball is going back. You know, there is some going back, except they really like a half tower because good and well cat don't bang. Cat don't bang. Cat be getting his DeMar DeRozan on, and you know it, popping that wrist. As long as I've been watching, yeah, he's doing good out there. Well, he's got an opportunity because he's got Anthony Edwards. He's not being seen as the focal point. So by him floating as a third or so option, that's why he's more effective. They're gonna almost have him looking like Dennis Rodman if they get deep in the playoffs because he's gonna be able to gobble up so much. But this Wolves twin thing is the most unique thing I've seen because if Anthony Edwards emerges out of it, I've never seen a perimeter player emerge with two twin towers. So that would be something. And when I say emerge, I'm talking about where he could be great, great. Because great as Kawhi Leonard was, that had more to do with the postseason, and then he turned it on, of course, in Toronto. But it's a unique situation. I've never seen anything like that before. Thank you. I never have seen that before. Mm-mm. So that could be unique. And that's why I think that's why I think that yeah, but he didn't get to play with David Robinson. That's all. And Duncan was there, but they didn't have it. Was what I'm saying is a guy emerges. But the thing about with this thing with Minnesota, I've never seen it before. And if Ant is able to emerge like that, they're going to be a stacked team for a few years. So that could be crazy. But if Jamal Murray comes up big with what he's got, that enhances his thing too. Oh yeah, yeah, they got it. I kid you not. They got something brewing there. They got something brewing there. They got something brewing there. I think I got. I think I finally got it where I got like the basketball I want to see. So this is great. Yeah, I know. I know about Minnesota. I've been to Minnesota. It's not as big as you think. I mean, Mall of America, and Prince was from there. St. Paul's, Twin Cities. It's not super big, but it has a big mall though. Yeah, they are. Listen. I'll say this. This is the problem, right? Denver, Minnesota, just kind of blow me away. I think Shea belongs in MVP discussion. I think Chad Holgram in another year or two is going to be something. And I do think they have a solid squad, and they might fool around and go. Because let's be realistic, if Denver and Minnesota beat the heck out of each other, but if you were asking me, there's something about Denver and Minnesota like a heavyweight, and OKC is like middleweight. The depth, that's what I'm looking at. Because even though Shea might be closer to Joker right now for the MVP, something about watching Ant Edwards, you feel like, uh oh. That feels like a uh-oh. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the only thing. Oh, I think the Thunder are legit. I think they good. I don't know if they're championship good, but these two move me more team wise. Plus, OKC didn't beat nobody. But then again, you could say that about those other two teams too. But let's look at it, shall we? Denver beating the Lakers. You think, okay, that is compelling. Minnesota stomping out Phoenix, which they should, but you still with Durant. You think, okay, ain't nobody gonna talk about OKC beat New Orleans. I'm just saying, right? Let's keep it 100. And then OKC against Dallas or the Clippers. I mean, even though Luca is, top four right now and all that, but it just doesn't really in the Clippers. So that's why I come down on it. It's not their fault, but it is kind of like unless they make a statement. So because you're gonna have Laker fans that say we'd have played them, we'd have probably beat them, and we'll never know. You know it's true. You think I'm lying? Stop me if I'm lying. Stop me if I'm lying. You'll be like, I know you thinking in the back of your head right now, like, yeah, we'd be better than New Orleans. We'd have probably beat them. I'm not. So before you come at me, you know how you think. I know how you think. Shoot. When you know that tomorrow's a heavyweight fight, and you're like, oh, I think we could take OKC. Because you listen to these heads on sticks on TV tell you all day. Aside from Denver, you beat everybody else. That's what they tell you. I'm not so sure. I think you give OKC a problem with size. And if you get physical with Minnesota, but it just depends. Oh God, what he didn't say today. Because he just sees anything for clicks and views. And listen, if I didn't remember him how he was, I used to like him as a football player. He wasn't great, but he was good. But he used to speak his mind. But he's so bought and paid for now. It's embarrassing. God, it's a matter who could I tolerate out of him and Richard Sherman because they say anything on that network. He should work with Colin Coward. They fit in real good. Yeah, okay. He was a known coach killer too, talk trash too, with Tony Dungy. Think I remember Key. I don't know what Darvin Ham could coach. He ain't the worst coach I ever seen. Yeah, well, no, you shouldn't be shocked. He has no choice because when he was on ESPN, he was the third wheel behind Max Kellerman and others. He wasn't considered deep. He had to put on a shiny shooting grin, rock that box hair, rock that box Urkel fade, and sit there and tell stories. So that's what he do. He's one of the worst NBA so-called experts I've ever heard. He sucks. And you could tell him I said so. Twice on Tuesday too. Turkey ain't got no business talking about no basketball. Paul Pierce be clowning him every day. But it's just embarrassing the great lengths they go to slurpage on that. That's why it's hard for me to watch that mess. I have to put that mess on mute until Skip talks to an extent. But it's brutal. Good and well LeBron should consider retiring. Oh God. And get fired by the midway point of the season and do what? Why everybody think they can coach that team? Why? Why? Yeah, that's what happened to me. I'm sorry, I had to go off screen on that one. Um, you got an old man as your best player, and then you got a old, young, almost old man who's buckles and acts all funny time and acts irresponsible and doesn't bring forth what he's supposed to, and they don't do their job. There's no way you can coach against diva old men. What you gonna do? I blame her too. She's not hands on where she needs to be. She needs to tell her cats, look, y'all can go. All y'all except for AD. Because you really need to clean the house. You have to evaluate who you keep. Probably mess with Weeds by default, even though I'd have to put him on the bench. I couldn't start him. And if that meant tanking for a year, tank or something till you get something better. But you're not cutting it with what you got. But that's what's going on with this, though. They stuck with a team that nobody wants, and that's what's up. She hands on the brothers, but she ain't hands where she need to be her hands at. That's the problem. Got your hands in the wrong section. So, but that's not my problem. You stuck with her. I ain't nothing to say. It's not gonna end well though. Yeah, because they were brought quality out there, not stuck with some bums who play half-hearted. Shoot, anybody with a brain know you can't have a 40-year-old trying to run the team. That's just not going to end well. Because when he get hurt or something goes wrong, and I realistic think at most he's probably got 2 years left in the tank at most, and then it's going to start to come off. Excuse me. Just can't stay awake right now. He probably is, but that's the least of his problems. His biggest problem is that he can't field a team that can win. He should retire. I think that when guys aren't winning championships, you're only playing to pad your stats. You're not winning nothing. I know one thing: if he has an invisible butt sack like he did last year, he should retire. Well, the ghost must have grabbed him by his cheeks because he fell back. But if that costs you to miss all the season, you're pretty fragile. You old, and yeah, and I don't think that New York thing is gonna work out that good. I just don't. I don't. So we'll see. Oh, he'd make it work. Because him and Brunson would be sick for what they got from Julius Randle, and they get excuse me. The reason why, excuse me, is because they'd find ways to cover for him. I mean, they do play aggressive, they play hard. The only problem he'll be is a liability on defense. But I just don't see that happening. I don't think James Dolan will attract that kind of player. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because Bronson covers the perimeter and LeBron would be getting the spot shoot and he'd have to rotate with him. So he'd make it work. Oh yeah, he'd make it work. He'd have to. The only problem is on defense. That's where there'd be a problem. He'd want to play with Brunson. Because him and AD don't work. And inside out ain't really there. And they both play perimeter and they both play fade away and go to the hole and run. Brunson attacks. No. They need too much body work. They need too much interior to mid, and that's not enough. That's not enough for that. That would have been fine probably 2 or 3 years ago. Not now. Too soft. Are you crazy trying to get him killed? Heck no. Too soft. And now, let me tell you something. If it wasn't New York and you put AD with Brunson almost anywhere else, that's maybe a lock. But his old soft, fragile behind falling. Did you see the Kenyon Martin one? Did you see the Kmart? You should go look up Kmart and call an AD soft. That was hilarious. Kenyon Martin called him soft, said his wife took better hits than him. Clown him. They clowned him. I was cracking up. I forgot how I got that link today. But yeah, I was cracking up. Kenyon Martin's called. They was calling him soft because he said, "Did you see that hit again?" He said, "Oh," they was clowning him hard. It was brutal. Now, now, but with a legit point guard, yeah, with a guard that can wiggle, AD would be better. You out into something, just not New York. If him and Brunson could get together and I don't know Cleveland or even with Brooklyn, him and Ja would be sick. If Ja comes back right, if Ja comes back right, that could be sick because that would be what they each need. He needs a real point guard though. He'll need a guy masquerading as a point forward, point off like LeBron. He needs a real point guard. That's why their routines are off. No, no, no. Even though AD is better than Brook Lopez is more consistent. There's nothing wrong with Brook Lopez. He just don't get played the right way. That man could score a 20-10 every night if they actually, if Giannis and Dame actually, if they had a coach who know how to utilize him. That bushy haired cat can still double double and got outside shot. His outside 3 is almost as good as AD's. You play Brooke Lopez the right way. No. No, I like AD with someone like Bronson or with Ja or with De'Aaron Fox, or with Shea. Hmm. But you gotta have a razzle dazzle guy. Now, because you're trying to get his career on a milk carton. Ain't nobody gonna watch that mess. They suck there. Melo get hurt and he get hurt. They be wearing street clothes all the time. Are you kidding? No, no. And Charlotte's too small for him. He never go to the country. You know it's true. I got some one liners. You say some funny stuff, I'm gonna give it to you. No, that ain't gonna work. Stat pad there, and you be figuring all about him. You be watching Charles, Kenny, and Shaq and Ernie talking about who he played with, and as tall as 80 is, saying, "I don't remember where that Lenny Kravitz looking cat play for." Please, you forget all about him. That's yeah, he should be. Sure, he's a bum. Feel like when he want to play, and look, get your big butt up and scoring 40 like that. You can do that every night. On a off night, you 25 and 10. Shoot, put all that gumbo down. Put them cheeseburgers down and get yourself in shape. He too good to be settling. Now he would be a steal in New York if he don't play old Pokemon. Shh. Stop being all pokey. Play some ball. I'm telling you. But see that cat, he'd be a bum. Should be a coulda. He's a great example. Just play bum ball. And no one ever gets in his grill. Well, they get in the grill. You know good and well, Spolston and Pat Riley would kill him. He can't go to the club. Check. Gotta stay away from the buffet. Check. Come on now. That's yeah. If he was in shape, if he stayed consistent like he did that last game against y'all, yeah. But you don't see that Zion. No, he couldn't make it in Miami. He could, but he has to have the attitude. I'm gonna tell you something. If he had the right mindset, you trade Duncan Robinson or Tyler and somebody else, and you build with him, Bam, and Jimmy, you'll track people. And if he's in shape and condition, oh yeah, they coming out the East if he's focused. But you got to do too many caveats. Too many caveats with him. Too many. Art. Too many caveats. And I know that see skills, talent is one thing, finishing up is another, and yeah, oh yeah. But you saw what happened this year. Just saying. He's a woulda, coulda, shoulda. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Yeah, I mean that's well. I can, cause you got them divas in there. What you expect? Shoot, you forget how Well, see, because you know why? Because Vogel actually made sense. He told them to play Westbrook off the bench. He used common sense, and they still fired him. They didn't like it. They never wanted him though. So that's what happened. That's what happened. He got fired because of politics. So probably. The problem with Vogel is that they he got hard headed cats. They got no reason to listen to him. Shoot. And you got veterans, and that's not an easy sell. They gonna bum on him. So and he's easy fire too because they're not a championship team. They just stat padding cats. Shoot. What they gonna do? Now. So I'm sorry. He didn't have the right kind of help. There's some truth to that. I know James Jones because he was in like 7 straight finals with Miami and Cleveland. There, I'll say this in KD's defense, they don't have the right pieces. That's true. They don't have a point guard. They don't have a bench. And they're not what I call a team that's equipped to be what they were. So he ain't lying from a technical perspective. If you just look at them as a big three, and who said they were big three anyway? Devin Booker been to 1 finals. Bradley Beal played in Washington for crying out loud. And KD, post Golden State, a toe second round, a first round casualty, cried to get out of Brooklyn, come to Phoenix, and got knocked out in the second round last year. So really, what is there? Because he really hasn't played a really postseason since he cried. He's one of those cats that he don't like nobody, don't like nothing. Basically a Junior Walker LeBron, and he can't understand why he can't get the same. He wants to be loved, but he wants to be a villain. He don't think nobody knows everything, but he wants everybody to know everything about him. It's just a walking contradiction, and just like comes off like a psychopath, like a nutcase. Great player, one of the greatest talents I've ever seen, but he's a turnoff. Has no personality, and he means well, but a lot of stuff he says, he flip flops, and it just comes across like it's like, okay, you're gonna be the thug or you're gonna be the scholar. You can't quite get KD right. And sometimes he outthinks his own self and ends up hurting his own head. So, you know, but that's not my problem. I like KD. Like I said, you'll be a first ballot famer, one of the greatest players ever, etc. Talent wise, underachieved though in a lot of ways though. We never got the full zenith of him, and we never got him mad and angry. That's the part I would have loved to have seen when he won one of them 10 straight games of 35, 40 points. Never came out. Just too cool for school. So James Jones ain't wrong in a technical perspective. No, he wouldn't. He can't help nobody now because if you're trying to win rings, you're not going to go to teams that are just average. It's nice and cute, but he got to get a ring, yo. He's the bus rider. Bus rider ain't got no time to be riding in the bus and sitting with somebody. He trying to get on the bus and drive that thing. Now, if he just stat pad and wants to be a work for hire, that's what he'll do. So that's all. Anyway, I get ready to go because I gotta go eat. I will be back tomorrow. I'm gonna cut it. Peace the best. Appreciate everybody. Thank you for coming through Ted right on. Appreciate the Darvin Ham update. I'm going to probably look into the Patrick Beverly thing. I might do that before I go anywhere else tonight. All right, man. Thanks for everything. It's been real. Great commentary as always. I saw there were more people and we didn't get a lot of people coming through tonight, but it's cool. We held it down. As always, appreciate you. I had little systems problems, but got it resolved. So anyway, um, thanks for everything. I will catch you, God willing, another day, another time. Peace, stay blessed, stay warm, stay safe. All right, I'm out. Peace.